Well, you guys, this just happened. After a season of ups and downs, close calls, come from behind victories, and I can't forget the injuries that happened this season. We had major injuries to Julio Jones, Devontae Freeman, Ricardo Allen, Andy Levitre, Devondre Campbell, and the list really goes on. We just got dealt a major blow with the injury bug this season, you guys. But despite all of that, we still had a chance to punch our ticket into the playoffs and to clinch the NFC South in the final game of the regular season, and we just couldn't do it. In fact, we actually got blown out by the Carolina Panthers in the final game. And if you guys haven't seen that video yet, I really suggest you check it out. It was a pretty crazy game. The link to the season series is in the description, so you should really check it out when you get a chance. With all that said, you guys, it's time to get into the offseason. Now, before we do, we got to take a look at the way the season ended. Starting in the wild card round, the Patriots beat the Broncos 35-20. The Titans took out the Chargers 30-13. Moving over to the NFC round, the Panthers destroyed the Bucks 52-13. And then the Saints clipped the Eagles 37-31. Now, the most surprising thing about the wild card round, as you guys can see here, is that 3 teams from the NFC South made the playoffs, and the Falcons weren't one of them. What's crazy about that is the Falcons, Bucks, and Saints all finished the year with a 10-6 record, and due to some tiebreaker scenario that's escaping me at the moment, we're the team that gets to sit home and watch the playoffs, so that's the way that it played out. Moving on to the divisional round in the AFC, the Steelers beat the Patriots 42-28. In a close win, the Titans beat the Raiders 38-34, and Carolina smacked Green Bay 35-16, and then the Seahawks snuck by the Saints 35-31. So that wraps up the divisional playoff round, but what is going on in New England? That 42-28 loss to the Steelers is a little bit surprising to me. That might be something that we need to keep an eye on moving forward in the series. Now, on to the conference championship games. The Steelers beat the Titans 49-38, and then the Seattle Seahawks gave the Carolina Panthers a taste of their own medicine by getting a blowout win 35-13, which leads us to the Super Bowl. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the Super Bowl champions. They beat the Seattle Seahawks 34-24, and we can now officially put the 2017-2018 NFL season in the books. So now we've got some player negotiations and player decisions that we have to make, but I'll spare you all the suspense and tell you that I don't intend on bringing back any of these guys. Dantari Poe left in free agency anyway, so we can get him up out of here. Ricardo Allen is a nice piece, don't get me wrong, but I kind of want a more dynamic playmaking free safety, and there's a pretty intriguing draft prospect that I like a lot that could come in and be a replacement for Ricardo, so you're just gonna have to wait to the next video to see how that plays out. Now, you guys, I need to be honest with you. I really have a love-hate relationship with these types of videos because as entertaining as it might be for me to sit behind the scenes off camera for an hour or two going through building my team and everything, I don't know if the experience that I'm having translates to you as a viewer. Somebody drop me a comment down below and let me know if you like videos where player skills and stats are discussed in detail, or do you prefer gameplay videos? I don't know, somebody drop me a comment down below and let me know. Now, getting back to the player re-signings, or better yet, the player offer withdrawals, there are a couple of guys that I consider keeping under the right circumstances, and Leroy Reynolds is one of them. I definitely like his athleticism, hit power, and pursuit, but that's really about it. And besides, he's nothing more than a depth signing at this point anyway, so I'm pretty sure I could find a better replacement out in free agency. Now, I know a lot of you guys might be questioning the logic behind not bringing back any of these players, but for me it's simple. I want to create as much cap flexibility as possible moving forward, plus I want to put my own stamp on the team. We are pretty late in this game's life cycle, so I have to accelerate things just a little bit in terms of roster building, but trust me you guys, I do have a plan, and if everything pans out the way that it should, I'll definitely be putting a much more competitive team on the field next season. Now, moving on to the league awards, Aaron Rodgers is your league MVP. There's really no surprise there. And then the Coach of the Year award goes to Jack Del Rio. That's pretty interesting to me because Jack's no longer with the Raiders, so there you have it. Tom Brady is your Offensive Player of the Year, and I'm curious to find out how much that factors into the MVP vote because, as you guys saw, Aaron Rodgers won the MVP, but Tom was a close second on that list, so I'm really wondering what goes into that voting process altogether. But anyways, you guys, Jabril Peppers won the Defensive Rookie of the Year. Tom Brady got the Best QB award, followed by LaShawn McCoy getting the Best RB award. Keenan Allen takes home Best Wide Receiver. And the list pretty much goes on from here, you guys. I'm not going to give you the play-by-play for each and every award. I'll let you check out the rest on your own, and then I'll catch up with you in the next segment. Alright, So now that you guys have seen the awards, it's time to move on to the stats. Starting with Matt Ryan, he had a pretty up and down season, you guys. He completed 276 of his 421 pass attempts. He threw for 32 touchdowns, but he also threw for 19 interceptions, and that's not going to fly. We have got to get that corrected going into next season. Now onto the running back stats. Tevin Coleman was your bell cow for pretty much the entire season after the injury to Devontae Freeman, and he had a really solid year, finishing with 1,317 rushing yards, 8 total touchdowns on the year, and an average of 82 yards rushing a game. I think that Tevin did a really good job for Devontae when he went down. But with that said, you guys, I'm about an inch and a half away from being done with this running back by committee nonsense. So what I'm thinking of doing at some point is putting Tevin up on the trading block just to see what offers I can get for him, because we've already got a ton of money invested in Devontae Freeman, and come next offseason, I'm just not going to break the bank to pay Tevin Coleman. It's just not going to happen, you guys. Now, moving over to the wide receiver stats, Mo Sanu finished the year with 61 catches for 1,050 yards and 8 touchdowns. Now, normally I'll be giving Mo Sanu a pat on the back for a job well done this season, but check out the numbers for Julio Jones. Julio had just about as many catches as Sanu, as well as many yards as Sanu, but he played 6 less games. That is impressive. And I also forgot to mention that he scored 5 more touchdowns than Sanu. Julio just had a monster of a season, regardless of what the numbers look like. And had he stayed healthy the entire way through the year, who knows what the outcome of the season would have been like. I'm just saying, you never know. Moving over to the defensive side of the ball, Deion Jones was your team leader in tackles with 124 total tackles. The sack leader for the year is Vic Beasley with 10.5 sacks, and Keanu Neal is your team leader for interceptions with 4 on the season. But you guys, there's no secret that we're definitely going to have to put in some work on the defense in the offseason, because you guys saw how the team seemed to fall apart late down the stretch, and I'm putting a lot of that blame on the shoulders of the defense. So we're definitely going to have to address that moving forward. And of course, I plan to cover every move that I want to make in the next video, but just to give you guys some idea, I want to load up the defensive line. I want to get a couple of nice D tackles, maybe a nickel corner and a linebacker, and also, like I touched on earlier in the video, I want to get a playmaking free safety. So I'm really going to have to put my GM hat on, because there's a lot of moves that need to be made, especially if we want to make a deep run into the playoffs next season. Anyways, you guys, that's all the time I got for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to leave you guys with the rest of the season stats for the league just so you can check them out. But I've got to get this free agency and draft video recorded so I can get it edited and out to you guys ASAP. So with that said, I'm up against it. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm signing off, and I'll see you in the next one.